Hello and welcome everyone to today's WorkSafe Tasmania Month webinar, 1 Million Lives, Jacob's Mental Health Tool. I'm Stephanie Morawski from WorkSafe Tasmania and I will be your moderator today. Before we start, we ask that you take a moment to read the following slide about information received today. I'll now explain how you can participate in today's webinar. Please type and submit your questions via the questions window on your control panel. Questions will be addressed at the end of today's webinar. Only presenter webcams will be used during the presentation. Today's webinar is also being recorded. I would now like to introduce your presenters, Katie Moore and Louise Reymond, both from Jacobs. Louise is HSC Systems and Program Coordinator and Positive Mental Health Champion Lead, Asia Pacific. Katie is Global HSC Strategy and Communications. In her HSC role, Louise creates, implements and maintains HSC systems and processes within her organisation to drive and support its safety culture, BeyondZero. In her champion role, Louise is involved in developing and implementing mental health initiatives for over 250 positive mental health champions across Asia Pacific. She completed the prestigious Australian Mental Health Leaders Fellowship in 2019 and with her project team was awarded the coveted Jackie Crowe Memorial Award. Katie has experience in business strategy, executive leadership support, business development and project delivery. With a background in urban development, she is particularly interested in mental health support and how the work of Jacobs can make a positive social impact on our communities. Welcome, Katie and Louise.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for your time today. We are honoured to present to you as part of WorkSafe Tasmania Month, the theme of which is Safe Bodies, Safe Minds, which aligns with our topic today, 1 Million Lives, Jacob's Mental Health Tool. So we know that depression is the leading cause of ill health and disability worldwide. In fact, according to World Health Organization estimates, 300 million people are now living with depression. 1 in 6 of the working population currently suffer from symptoms that are severe enough to impact on their working life, but not severe enough to be diagnosed. Examples include poor quality sleep, irritability, swift mood changes, social withdrawal, or a change in appetite, to name a few. Every 40 seconds, someone takes their life, and every 2 seconds, someone attempts it. These are just some of the sobering statistics that drove Jacobs to develop a free and confidential online mental health check-in tool, accessible by all, that we've called 1 Million Lives. There are so many factors that contribute to overall mental health. To better understand these complexities, we at Jacobs collaborated with mental health professionals to create this online mental health check-in tool to help users assess their current state of mind and provide strategies for maintenance or improvement. Completing a mental health check using the 1 Million Lives tool allows users to understand how they're currently coping, recognise early warning signs, and also monitor their mental health in a measurable way. When we understand where and how we may be declining in our mental health, we can take steps to improve it. Understanding early warning signs is key for becoming or staying mentally well. Our employees at Jacobs have access to our free EAP, but with the knowledge that our wider community might not have the same access to such services, it was important to us to ensure that everyone can use this tool. In developing 1 Million Lives, our mission is to make a significant change in the mental ill health statistics, and we knew that by giving free access to our online tool, it was the best way to do that.
Okay, So the idea for 1 Million Lives came from when Jacob's Global Vice President for Health and Safety, Paul Hendry, attended a conference that Perth-based clinical psychologist Peter Slocum was speaking at. Peter was speaking about how the thousands of people she'd met throughout her career had never had a mental health check. Health checks are commonplace for our physical health. Many of us go for annual checkups with our GP or dentist, but most of us don't give much thought to checking our mental health until we're struggling. As Peter spoke of her ambition to create a digital mental health check, Paul realized that Jacobs had the technical expertise and ambition to help bring it to life, and 1 Million Lives was born. Now, you might be wondering why we called our campaign 1 Million Lives, and the truth is it means many different things. Louise spoke around the statistics around mental health, and we know that globally almost 1 million people take their own life each year. But also as a team, we realized that if we each stepped up to check our own mental health and invited 5 others to do the same, and those 5 people spoke to another 5 people to share the message we're all in this together, we realized that pretty soon we could potentially reach 1 million people, offering a proactive approach to take the next step to action. Now, before we explain about the tool and campaign further, we have a short video to share with you.
That video always gets me right in the feels, and that was no exception. So most mental health assessments available online measure pathology or whether people have symptoms of sickness. Others measure thinking styles or behaviours associated with how well we bounce back from challenges. 1 Million Lives is designed to recognise that mental health is not a binary issue, and that assessing for symptoms of a mental health issue alone won't add value for the majority of people. To use a metaphor, if you can imagine some existing tools acting as a torch to identify mental health functioning, 1 Million Lives turns on a floodlight, giving wider visibility to mental health. Our check-in tool asks a series of questions. On this slide, you'll see 3 example questions asked within the tool and a sample of check-in results. The check-in results provide an overall mental health percentage score, in addition to a rating from poor to high well-being. 1 Million Lives is not intended to diagnose, but the full check-in provides results that can be taken to your GP, which can help jumpstart a conversation. The results give a specific breakdown of 7 elements of well-being that the 1 Million Lives check-in measures. The first being current psychological distress. Then there's early warning signs or risk factors, which includes elements such as poor quality sleep, levels of resiliency, a history of poor mental health, or poor lifestyle factors such as alcohol use and minimal exercise. The responses provided to these questions will help you to develop a proactive plan forward. Then we have the protective factors. If you're not showing signs of psychological distress, that's fantastic. And there are also behaviours and personality traits that, if identified via 1 Million Lives, they can be positively strengthened. For example, if you have extremely high standards, perfectionist tendencies, low social engagement, and avoidance of difficult thoughts, or unintentionally high social media use, 1 Million Lives can help you understand the potential downsides and identify good mental health goals.
Okay, so these are some of the materials we've developed to help support the campaign. We have a website that houses many mental health resources to complement the tool and allows users to explore strategies to address the factors highlighted in their results and develop an action plan in response. Within Jacobs, we've developed a series of webinars that explore mental health topics such as parenting and working from home, staying connected in lockdown, and developing healthy sleep habits. As we've gained insights from the 1 Million Lives check-in data, we've been able to evolve the program to respond to trends we're seeing and do a deeper dive on areas where we're seeing poor results to give people a better understanding about typical underlying causes and how they might be able to address them. To bring awareness to the campaign, we have a suite of resources such as posters, web banners, and social media content for people to share the tool with their friends and family and keep the ripple effect moving. We've also been driving engagement by publishing thought leadership articles and taking part in conferences and speaking engagements across the globe. So far to date, we've had over 15,000 check-ins completed and 22,000 engagements on social media. You can see a selection of the posts on the right-hand side of the screen there. And the resiliency series I spoke about has had over 50,000 views within Jacobs alone. But beyond these numbers, it's the personal stories we've received that really demonstrates the success of the campaign to us as a team. We've had people share that the 1 Million Lives results have provided them a way to articulate how they were feeling, which they'd struggled to do before. They've been able to take their results to their doctor to seek further help. To even change one person's life in this way makes our efforts all worthwhile.
We recently partnered with Mates WA. Mates in Construction is a construction industry suicide prevention organisation focusing on raising awareness, building capacity, providing help and research. The campaign aimed to engage 10,000 Western Australian construction workers and invite them to conduct their personal, real-time mental health check-in using 1 Million Lives. The 10,000 Lives campaign was hosted, or the launch, was hosted by Mates WA in August. Peter Slocum, the co-creator of 1 Million Lives and prominent Australian psychologist, presented to an audience of over 130 construction industry personnel. It was amazing to see everyone in the room put their heads down and take a personal mental health check-in the morning of the campaign launch. AMMA, Australian Resources and Energy Group, has come aboard too and is calling upon all companies within the resource sector to join Check-in Week. This is a pledge to give their workforce the opportunity to pause and complete a mental health check-in in all work locations during Mental Health Week. We hope to increase mental health awareness and reduce stigma associated with talking about mental health. So in partnering with as many organisations as possible, this is looking more and more possible every day. So if you're interested in utilising 1 Million Lives within your organisation, please get in touch.
In addition to launching the campaign with Mates, we've been building partnerships to share 1 million lives with organisations across the world. We want to look beyond the boundaries of our own organisation with 1 million lives to put free mental health support into the hands of everyone. It's not only within our own industry, but we've been building a diverse range of partnerships across different organisations, including HR and recruitment agencies, mental health charities, and schools and sporting clubs, including the Livingston Football Club, who play in the Scottish Premier League. You can see a selection of these partner companies along the bottom of the slide. Our aim with these partnerships is simply to come together with like-minded organisations who want to make a difference. So like Louise said, if you're interested in sharing 1 million lives across your own organisation, please do reach out to us after this presentation. Looking now to some of the check-in data, here we have some of the headline analysis from the aggregated check-ins from Jacobs employees earlier this year. First of all, and a really encouraging trend, is that men are equally likely to check in as women. This is atypical, as traditionally men are more reluctant to engage in mental health initiatives. We think and hope that the privacy the digital tool allows is making a difference in this space. In line with wider research on mental health, we also know that our younger cohort are struggling the most. 18 to 25-year-olds averaged moderate in questions related to psychological distress, primarily anxiety, scoring the highest of all age brackets. They scored the lowest in resilience and the highest levels of negative side effects from social media use. In contrast, our older age groups are showing less signs of psychological distress, and social media has far fewer negative effects on well-being. Most importantly, resiliency is at its highest in this age group. The higher the age bracket, the less participants report worrying about unimportant events, the more they can bounce back after setbacks and remain calm after stressful events. So taking the analysis of the data, we've been able to make targeted recommendations to our leadership team and make decisions in direct response to how our people are coping. This includes ensuring our younger age groups are prioritised for returning to the office in global regions opening up after COVID, provided vaccine accessibility allows. We're also putting in place a mentoring program to support this group. We've developed targeted presentations for our resiliency series that covers areas where we're seeing problematic results, such as sleep, social media use, and resiliency. And as a business, we're also looking at putting in place a clinical care team to help us further understand the results to a deeper level and make appropriate decisions in light of them.
Okay. 1 Million Lives was launched in December 2020. As HSE professionals, we understand the importance of continuous improvement, and 1 Million Lives is no exception. Some improvements we're in the process of making include translation to languages other than English, enhanced usability and accessibility, and an improved interface. One of our company values is we do things right, which means we act with integrity, taking responsibility for our work, caring for our people, and staying focused on safety and sustainability. We make investments in our clients, our people, and our communities so we can grow together. So in light of that, we want to get this tool out there to all industries, into our communities, and into our families. We want to be part of a journey towards a globally mentally healthy future for everyone. You can use 1 Million Lives in your organisation as a mental health engagement tool. 1 Million Lives is free. There are no strings attached. Jacobs actively decided to invest money, time, and Jacobs' most valuable resource, its people, to develop this tool. This represents our commitment to always looking out for each other, those inside and outside our company. So 1 Million Lives collects no identifying data, and at no time will you be asked to provide personal data, such as your name and email address. Anonymous information we will collect includes basic demographic statistics, which allows us to analyse and understand the data. On occasion, we use an aggregation of the demographic data collected from users. These findings are intended to give insight in how the general population is currently coping and encourage open conversation about mental health and further knowledge sharing. Gone too far. As you've been listening to this webinar, have you been thinking of someone who could benefit from learning a bit more about their own mental health? I'm sure you have. We encourage you to take the full check-in, review your results and the suggestions for growth, and then have a conversation about your results with 5 people you care about, including that one person that's been on your mind for the past half an hour. It will not only help you understand your current state of mind, it will also encourage others to think about or maybe even talk about how they've been feeling. With 1 Million Lives, we hope to create a ripple effect through workplaces and into the community where any stigma associated with talking about mental health is a thing of the past. We have the QR code up on the screen now, so if you'd like to head to your cameras and scan the QR code, it will take you to the 1 Million Lives website. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Louise and Katie, for your presentation today. And as Katie and Louise have said, the QR code is on your screens now if you would like to find out more information about 1 Million Lives. We are now going to take any audience questions that do come through, so please use your questions window on your control panel. In respect to the video that you played, Katie and Louise, what's the best way that people can rewatch that again?
It's on our website, which you can get to from the QR code there on screen. oml.world is the website. It's up on the front page. It's also on the Jacobs YouTube channel page as well, but we'd be happy to share it after this webinar too.
Thank you. Today's webinar is also being recorded. If you would like to watch this webinar again or to watch any other WorkSafe Tasmania Month webinars that we are recording during WorkSafe Month this year, please head to WorkSafe Tasmania's YouTube page. A question that has come through, Katie and Louise. Can you give some more information on the mentoring? Does that develop skills in staff, so of staff in the workplace?
Yeah, within Jacobs, we have a few different mentoring programs. We're quite a large organisation, so it gets divided through the groups. Within the HSE team, we've launched one earlier this year, which not only partners people to help develop their skills and career, but also sort of provides that mental health champion and check-in and regular contact. You know, I think particularly what we were seeing with the results and a lot of the feedback and analysis this past year of people being really early in their careers and working from home and the isolation. And, you know, I think back to my career early on, you know, I'm very happy working from home now at this age, but how isolating it must feel when you're very new in the career. So as a conscious effort, just being more mindful, having that mentor in place to be doing regular check-ins to provide guidance and a bit of a sanity check at times too. And I think it helps. I'm a mentor and it helps me in the reverse as well.
Thank you, Katie. Another question. To give more context, I work in corrections and we find that champions in the workplace that promote a tool like this would work well, but staff would benefit from mentoring. Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, I think, you know, the digital tool is a good first step. And I think that's what we always say, it is about creating the conversation. So like we kind of explained, you can do the tool and get the results. But what really helps is sharing it with someone and speaking with someone. So I think I'd agree with that comment that that personal one-to-one relationship, whether it's in person or via Zoom, is always great. And I think that's part of the essence of the campaign, is to, yes, provide insight and understanding for people, but also help make connections as well.
Thanks. Another question. Does everyone need to create an account to use the app?
Yes.
They
yeah.
do. You go, Katie.
You take it. No, you take it, Louise.
Okay. They do indeed. So that will create a profile for yourself. So you can go in as often as you like, and it's always a good idea to take check-ins over a period of time. So when you create an account and a profile, you can check to see how you're going over a period of time. So you can check on your past results and just see how you're improving.
Good. There's still time, everyone, if you would like to submit any questions to our presenters, Katie and Louise, today both from Jacobs, in respect to their presentation, 1 Million Lives, Jacobs Mental Health Check-in Tool. Please do submit those questions via the questions window in your control panel. Also, before the presentation does end today, please also scan the QR code on the screen to find out more information about 1 Million Lives. Doesn't appear any further questions are coming through, Katie and Louise. Is there anything else? Actually, a couple of questions, my apologies. Is the username on the Jacobs account confidential?
Yes, everything is confidential and anonymous. Any of the data, the aggregated data on the other end is completely, we don't see any of that account information. We also encourage you, when you sign up, to create an account that is in no way related to your name or have personal information, as well as that extra step toward privacy.
With no further questions coming through at the moment, is there anything else that Katie, Louise, you would like to say before we do wrap up today's webinar?
Just a thank you to everyone for joining us, and to you, Stephanie, for moderating such a great event.
Okay, and just in that time, a question: what is the response if a person has responded and they have suicide ideation?
Yes, that is one of the questions on the tool. Our website does provide, there's a Need Help Now button for people to access at any point while taking the tool, and also in the website itself, which provides, it has a global list of lifeline and help numbers. And you know, for anyone in that situation, we encourage them to immediately reach out to emergency services or their doctor, or one of the lifelines there.
Okay, thank you, Katie. And another question: is there a way for management to access results for staff?
No, we can see on a very high, broad level basis for Jacobs and check-ins, but there's no way for a team leader to be monitoring. Again, back to that privacy issue, it's all anonymous and confidential unless someone chooses to share their results with a friend or with a family member or with a team member. That's the only way it ever becomes known.
And just a question that's come through regarding cost. Does Jacobs receive any government funding to operate, or is the cost met by business partners?
Jacobs are sole funders of 1 Million Lives.
Thank you. And just to remind everyone, the QR code is on your screen. We will shortly wrap up today's webinar. The session is also being recorded today. Please head to the WorkSafe Tasmania YouTube page following WorkSafe Tasmania month to rewatch today's webinar. The video played in today's presentation is also available via the QR code as well, and also on Jacob's YouTube page. A question has come through. If we were to introduce this into our workplace, is there any cost?
No, the tool is there freely available for everyone to use. And if you're interested, yeah, please do reach out to us.
All right, thank you. And with that, Katie and Louise, we'll wrap up today's webinar. So thank you, Katie Moore and Louise Reymond from Jacobs, and thank you everyone for attending today's WorkSafe Tasmania Month webinar, 1 Million Lives, Jacobs Mental Health Tool. You will receive a survey at the end of today's webinar. We do appreciate you providing us with your feedback. Today's webinar has also been recorded and will be made available shortly on WorkSafe Tasmania's YouTube page. To find out more about Tasmania's WorkSafe Tasmania Month and other services funded by the WorkCover Tasmania Board, delivered by WorkSafe Tasmania, please head to worksafe.tas.gov.au. On behalf of the WorkCover Tasmania Board and WorkSafe Tasmania, thank you.